Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Diehm stream. I'm Jay, and I am very fortunate to be joined today by the incredibly wonderful The Nerd Wife. And we're going to be discussing some really cool stuff. We're going to be asking about her niche, how she got into Twitch, and what advice she might have for aspiring streamers. But here we are today. Do you prefer I call you Amber or what?
I don't know. It's so weird to hear people call me Amber.
What do
On
you have
Twitch.
people call you? Like, what do they
Most
mostly?
people call me nerd.
They call you nerd. Okay. It's like I don't have.
I kind of
I'm
like
willing to
it.
call you whatever. I'll call. I don't know. The name probably won't come up too often. But speaking of names, why don't we transition in? Well, first of all, how you doing today?
I'm great. I'm great. It's a good morning. I'm going to be meeting with some friends later, do a little educational get together. Because again, I'm a nerd. So yeah, no, I'm just happy. It's a good day. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for joining me here today. I'm very excited to kind of get to know you and help other people get to know you a little bit more. So speaking of the nerd wife, where does I find myself at the like, are you a nerdy wife or are you the wife of a nerd or are you both?
I get that question quite often, actually, and I would have to say both. I think the nerd husband and I are different kinds of nerds,
Does he go by the
but
nerd husband?
he does not. That's just
Oh,
how I refer to him.
I was hoping that you guys were like on Twitter together as the nerd husband and the nerd wife, and I'm like
That would be
tag teaming
amazing.
it. That'd be awesome.
I should tell him to change his username.
You are now the nerd husband. We're
Yeah,
gonna co-stream this.
mandatory. Yeah, where did it come from? I've done many things in my life. And at one point I was interested in blogging.
Okay.
And so I bought the domain, thenerdwife.com, and I thought I would write about being a wife and a nerd and being married to a nerd and, the culture of our marriage and our life. And that didn't really go anywhere, but I really liked the name, and it just made sense to use that when I came to Twitch.
Well, so because I used to run like the podcast that was before this, the Deem stream used to be just another nerdy podcast, which would have been crazy had I had that been the moniker we're going under now. But just another nerdy podcast. We were studying the term nerd, and it's a really complex term. What is it? What does being a nerd mean to you?
Oh, wow.
I'm sorry.
It's something that I'm really proud of now. Um, I think it's something that you get made fun of when you're young, and then you either run away from that or you embrace it. And I think I chose to embrace that. I think of myself as a little out of the box, quirky, just awkward, but also like um, passionate. I think nerdiness and passion closely tied together. With whether it's with your fandoms, um, you know, you have your Star Wars nerds and you have your Harry Potter nerds and those kinds of things. I mean, you have to really define the word for yourself. And for me, it's quirky, out of the box, awkward, and passionate. I think that's the best description.
I think honestly, the one thing that I was able to derive from studying the term nerd is passion. Like you have to have a level of passion. So you say I'm nerdy about this or I'm nerdy about that, and you have an extended level of knowledge and passion for something. Like, what do you feel like? What do you feel your nerdism encompasses?
Well, I'm super nerdy about horror. I just like geek out over everything having to do with horror, movies, games,
Are you
merch.
flipping out about It Chapter 2 right now?
Oh my God. We saw it like the day it came out in IMAX. We had our tickets for like 3 weeks in advance.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. We have big it poster in our living room. Like we're fans.
Okay, so we've got horror on our nerdy docket. What else?
Yeah.
What else do you find yourself nerdy about?
I'm super nerdy about the human body, and how the human body works and how our brain works and how it's all connected, how we move. And like right now I'm reading a book on digestive health. Like that's so lame.
That's not, I mean, that's not lame. That's, that's prolonging your life probably, I would say, you
I
know.
guess so. I guess so.
Like the hope is to have a higher quality, like, and longer longer life. I
Yeah, it's
speaking
just so
as
funny because I get really excited about it and I turn to the nerd husband and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I just learned how poop works." And he's like, "I don't want to know about this."
that's that's cool though. That's something you know now.
I do.
I can't confidently say I understand the process. Uh,
Yeah. Well, I can tell you how to do it easier, how to take less time doing it, how you should feel afterwards. I don't know. We won't get
oh
into that.
wow, there's a whole book on that, or there's
Oh
books
yeah.
probably.
Multiple, I'm sure. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about let's talk about we'll address your niche first. So from my perspective, like the way that I've caught on is you do a lot of like yoga on stream. But like what would you say is your niche for streaming? Do you do gaming? Do you strictly stay to like educational exercise and teaching about the body? What is your niche for Twitch?
So I feel like yeah, the two sides of me are a little bit juxtaposed. There's this kind of zen, peaceful, healthy wellness person and like this crazy dark horror geek all in the same body. So I think it's kind of two-pronged for me. I started off doing horror streaming. That's kind of like the direction I thought I was going to go. Um, but then seeing the need for gamer health awareness in the community, I was like, I have to do this. This has to be where I go. So I started putting a lot more emphasis in that. And in all honesty, long-term goal is to transition to just that, to just the wellness side of what I do. Um, I like the gaming aspect because I get more time to interact with my friends and viewers. That's our time to hang out. I don't get to do that as much when I'm teaching. Um, but yeah, I mean, I would like to be the go-to yoga streamer on Twitch. That is my goal, and I don't want it to just be yoga classes. I have this series that I'm sort of trying to get off the ground called Joyful Living, where we talk about, wellness and happiness and how to just live a better and more fulfilled life. And I would like to incorporate that as well. Next month, we're bringing in a doctor the for an interview, and the week after that, or the month after that, we're bringing in a nutritionist. So I just want to take care of the full body, full mind wellness awareness for gamers.
That's really really cool. I mean, so you're talking about like just sort of like specifically targeting gamers here. I mean, do you find it is an interesting subject about people who are mostly known to be like sitting in a chair all day long. I mean, if you want to like flip to like a picture that's like the quintessential gamer picture, it's that guy from South Park who's been sitting in the chair for like 12 months playing WoW, all gross and greasy. Like what's different approaching that in comparison to just sort of a regular health situation for people, like people who want to improve? I wouldn't say
Yeah.
the gamers don't want to improve, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, it's not that gamers don't want to improve. I don't think that's the case at all. I think a lot of people have been really receptive of what I'm trying to do, or they want to make changes or don't necessarily know how to make changes. Um, I think, yeah, there's a lot of stereotypes in our community of sitting for long periods of time. And I mean, that's just fact. We sit for long periods of time, and that can really take a toll on the body. But also there are stereotypes about our eating habits. Like we all live off of Postmates, and not gonna lie, I struggle with that. Or Doritos and Mountain Dew, or G Fuel or whatever. Like these things are not good for us. Um, and I want to bring an awareness to that and say, hey, we can do better. Like we can be successful in our gaming or streaming careers and thrive in our personal lives and be healthy and happy and not drained and heavy and uncomfortable and stiff and achy. We don't, it doesn't have to be an either or.
Yeah, I've one of the things that I've been working on lately is building this balance. I want to be a Twitch streamer, but also, and I like gaming in that aspect, but also I want to be healthy and I want to work a fulfilling career. And finding that balance with all these things, I think it's necessary if you're going to do something, especially along the lines of Twitch. And so, like, one thing I do, surprisingly, like, I'm a big dude. I'm not a little guy. Like, I, I've put on some weight, and I'm not always proud of it, but like, I go out and I run like 3 times a week. And I started, granted, I was angry and it was a great stress reliever when I started, but now it's just sort of a regular thing that I do. I started running, like a mile, and now I've got myself up to running 5Ks like 2 to 3 times a week, you know.
Wow, good for you.
Yeah,
I don't run. I'm so bad at running.
well, I know,
Good
and it's
for you.
interesting because some people like my so and another fun thing is like my wife is actually a personal trainer. She teaches yoga. She teaches like, fitness classes. She works with people and
That's
like helps
awesome.
people. And like um you know I kind of keep that at a distance a little bit because I'm like, hey, like I want to, like, we need to connect personally. I don't want to get too frustrated with you yelling at me about running. But, sometimes I'll get some advice from her and stuff like that. But it's like it's a life balance there. It's really really hard. And I think if you're going to do something as successful as Twitch, you have to have that perfect balance, especially if it's not going to pay off immediately. I mean, if you're an engine that's paying your bills, great. But if you're going to be someone who has to pay their bills, but also I think you should 100% incorporate health in there, because it's going to make it more difficult if you're not feeling very well to be sitting there staring at a screen for, you know, 3 to 8 hours at a time. It's difficult, you know.
Absolutely. Well, and you see so many people who are like, "Oh, I'm burnt out," or "I'm not feeling well," or "I'm sick again." And I mean, these are things you constantly see on Twitter from streamers. And I think a lot of those things, um, I mean, it's not completely preventable, but we can do more to have that happen less often.
Yeah, I think it's part of it is health. How are you taking care of yourself? What are you eating? Um,
Hmm.
what are you, how well are you hydrated? I mean, probably within the past 2 years, I started seeing like a trend of like there was I don't know, like a queue or something. You could have your people like make you drink water,
Right.
like as a
You have your like
reminder.
hydro bot.
Yeah, like drink water, and it was like
On that note.
yeah. Well, and that's why I have this jug with me. Is I try to, you try to drink water, and it's difficult. Dirty Mike
Yes.
TV, welcome. How
What's
you
up, Dirty
doing?
Mike?
So I mean, it's a scary thing, but I think it's a cool thing that you want to address this to gamers. Oh, thank you so much for joining Team Diehm on the Diehm stream, Dirty Mike. Thank you so much. I think it's cool that you address this though. Like it's a cool thing. How receptive have people been for the idea? Do you have a lot of people that come to you? Do you try to come to people a lot and say, hey, this is, come check this out. I wanna help you. you know?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. I mean, obviously when I see people with complaints or health issues on Twitter, that I know I can help with, I'll reach out to them, you know, um, with suggestions with their permission. A
Okay.
lot of the times people do come to me. I get a lot of people say, "Oh, I got, stiff back. What are some stretchers that can help with that?" Um, you know, I have to remind people though that I'm not a doctor. So when people come to me and say, "Oh, I had this injury, what should I do?" Well, that I don't have the authority to answer. So check with your doctor, make sure that you are cleared to work out, to do yoga. And if you are, then I can help you with some exercises. So I have to make sure that I'm drawing that line, that like here's my realm of expertise over here, and I don't want to step on anyone's toes or cross any like legal or ethical lines over here. So not a doctor. Um, but yeah, I mean, I had some people reach out about the kind of essential oils that I use in my life and things like that. I recently was talking to someone about that. So yeah, anything with like general wellness, just how to be healthier and happier. That's what I'm there for.
That's awesome. So let's go back a little bit. Let's talk about like when you started Twitch. How did you find Twitch? What got you into Twitch? And then let's talk a little bit about how you transformed from horror into wellness. Like what I want to talk about that path, that road. So how did you get into Twitch? Like when did you discover it? What made you go, I'm going to do this?
Oh, okay. So I think I first streamed in 2017, just for a few months. I made some really amazing friends in that short period of time, though, that I still hang out with. I still hang out with on Discord and do collabs with. So it was a cool time. Then I was just kind of doing whatever game I felt like playing. I had no niche, no direction. I had no idea what I was doing. I had come through a really difficult and painful life event right around that time. And I just needed something that was mine. I needed something to do, something that was mine, maybe a place to meet some people. Um, and Twitch was that, and it was great. But I was still dealing with that life stuff. I couldn't put everything that I wanted into it. I didn't have any direction. Um, and also trolls. I was like, what are these? I don't like this. So I stopped. Um, but last year I started working with a video game news show, a local gaming news show. And like being back in that community, I was like, oh, I kind of want to get my channel back. So I started streaming again, and it was November of last year. And this time it just felt right. I was like, nope, this is my thing. I'm doing this. And I just dove head in, and I started making YouTube videos and researching the right way to do things, and decided, you know what, I need a niche. A niche. It's going to be horror. I love horror. This is what we're doing. Um, and then I started seeing habits in people's lives and the things that they were complaining about and wanting to change. And Ashney Christ, stream coach, everybody loves Ashney, had mentioned that she started offering her health or her stream coaching, you know, as a giveaway, like the first 15 minutes of her stream or something like that.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, maybe I'll start giving away yoga like that. I mean, that's something that I know that can help people. And maybe people get excited. They'll come in early and they'll try to, win a yoga class with the nerd. I don't know. Let's give it a shot. So I did that. And I started doing like little private one-on-ones over Discord with people. And it was really well received. So then I thought, maybe I should just do this. Maybe I should just give this to everybody all the time. And then I did. I just started, I tweeted out a like 20-second little informational, like one or two pose clip on Twitter, and it just did great. I was like, yep, this is what we're gonna do. So I started teaching yoga on Twitch. And it's kind of ebbed and flowed. I'm trying to teach the community that this is an important thing. I'm sure to a lot of people it's like, what is this? There's no point to this. Um, so just working on that now.
That's awesome. Um, that's so cool. So, do you have anything like, have you hit one of those like super success story moments? Now, I wouldn't say super, but like, if you were to ask my wife, she has a really cool story about how she works with a lot of elderly patients, and this woman had been sent to her because it was one of those she had fallen and she couldn't get up moments. The lady called her and said, called her in the middle of the night one time. It was like, Grace, I fell. Grace was like, oh my God, what? And she said, can I turn my, oh yes, I can turn my mic up. Thank you. Uh, so she had fallen and couldn't get up. And, I just wanted to call and tell you that I got up. So it was one of
I
those
actually
like,
can't hear you now at all.
oh really? Okay, one moment. Um, okay, do technical difficulties. Uh, oops. Let me user settings. Uh, check. Check. You can't. So you can't hear me at all.
I can hear you now.
Okay, good, good, good. Okay,
Yeah.
all right, there we go. Man, I've never had that one happen before. Oh well. Uh,
Always something new.
always
So
something
you were
new.
saying she'd called and said she'd fallen.
Yeah, and so my wife was like, "Oh my god, are you okay?" And she said, "No, I just wanted to tell you that I got up." And she was like, "What?" And she goes, "I
Oh.
fell and I got up, and it's because of you." And so it was like a big success moment. I mean, I, and that's a pretty cool story. But I mean, have you had anything like that happen to you yet with your yoga that you're teaching? I mean, have you had anybody contact you and say, "Hey, I'm doing great," or something like that,
That's amazing. I actually worked with pretty exclusively seniors before I went full time on Twitch. And it was, I mean, I didn't have any holy cow moments like that, but I mean, week to week, it was like, oh, I couldn't lift my arm last week and now I can. Little things like that. Or I had no energy. I couldn't get out of bed in the mornings, but coming here makes me really happy. It gives me a purpose. Things like that really keep you motivated as a teacher.
That is so cool. Well, so I mean, anything on Twitch so far though? Has anybody reached out to you from there?
I love. I have one fairly regular participant who just I adore. Who's always like, "Oh, I was so stiff today. Thank you so much for what you do. I feel better today." Things like that are so great, and she's so vocal about it. I love it. If she enjoyed it, if she feels better, she just tells me, and I love that. I think sometimes people feel weird to compliment someone. I mean, I know I do. I know sometimes when there's people that I admire or I like or their content or something about them. Sometimes it's a little weird to be like, "Hi, I really like you. Thanks for what you do." Like I just feel so derpy and strange. I'm like, "You don't know me, but thanks for being you." Um, so it's possible that there's some of that, but I do have this one viewer that constantly lets me know how I've benefited them, and that's great. Oh, you know what? I just remember there was a really awesome moment. Someone took a photo of themselves and their girlfriend in front of their TV with my stream on, and they're like, "We're getting ready to do yoga together this morning," and I was like. And they chose to do it with me. That was such an exciting moment. And they chose to share it with me. Like, not only did they do yoga together on their TV with me, but they chose to share that with me. And that was really cool.
That's awesome. Oh man, see that I always wondered like, every now and then I get someone who says like, "Hey, you helped me out a little bit," because like if someone asks me a question, I'll help them out. Or like, I popped in on a few streams too, and the person's like, "I can't get my webcam going." I'm like, "Do this real quick," and they're like, "It worked." I'm like, I'm like, yeah, that's a problem I've run into 1,000 times. Like, it's my natural reflex. Whereas when you, like you said, like, because when you jumped into streaming, you said like there's no direction. Twitch has, like, I mean, Twitch is one of those things. Like, it's have fun, And when I jumped in 5 years ago, like 5 or 6 years ago, there's no direction. Like there was nothing. There was no Ashley Christ. There was no Harris Heller. There was no Guy Level. There was nothing. There's absolutely nothing out there. And now
Kind of
it's
the Wild West.
yeah. It was. Whew, it was, and if you look back at some of those streams, I'm like, oh man. I do have this great clip of me crying at the end of Black Flag because I was just so invested into that game. But like it's the quality is just not there, and
Yeah.
it's fun to see how far you can come in such a long time and like how many things you can learn. But it's yeah, it was a blast. So let's go back to your horror days. What did you start streaming with? What type of games did you play?
So when I first came back to streaming, I basically consider like my streaming career starting in November. Everything before
Okay.
that was another life. Um,
Well, we should address that other life here in a bit, but let's talk about November. I want to talk horror games with you.
yeah. So the first thing I played when I came back was oh, what was that? We Happy Few.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, which I guess is technically horror game. It's like dystopian society,
Kind of like a Clockwork
mandatory
Orange.
drugs. Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, that's what I got out of it, but I didn't play it, so I don't.
Yeah, it kind of an alternate reality post World War II in Europe, Big Brother government, that kind of thing. Um, it was cool. I played through there's like three characters. You play through each one of their stories. I played through one and a half characters and was like, I'm good. We have checked this box. But then I moved on to a game called The Dark Occult, and it has become one of my favorite games ever that I've never beaten. Um, and I've put like 65 to 70 hours in it, I think. And I've restarted it 3 times. Um, but it keeps breaking.
Oh.
Like there'll be a key that I'm supposed to have and it's supposed to be on this desk, but it's just not there. Or I will have found all 5 of these voodoo talisman, but one of them won't have registered in the game that I found it. And so it's just like fully progression blocking and I have to just start over. But I love it
Oh.
so much, I just keep trying.
Well, so what about some of the horror that's coming out now? I mean, are you taking a look at any of that, like Blair Witch or what's that one, Man of Medan, maybe?
I just finished Man of Medan. I was a huge fan of Until Dawn. Actually, Until Dawn was the first game I ever streamed.
Okay.
Yeah, so I guess it was sort of a foreshadowing that horror was going to be where I landed. Um, but Man of Medan was shorter, less engaging. The story was lacking in development. I didn't feel any connection to the characters. Um, Meh. I was really excited for it, but I got a little
I mean,
disappointed.
so Until Dawn, I've heard like masterpiece stuff about. Like people have said it's brilliant. So it's interesting. Monkey Master '09, welcome to the Deem stream. Oh yeah, Monkey Master is saying the same thing. Not as
Yeah,
good.
not
Not
quite
as
as
good.
good.
That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. Have you looked into Blair Witch at all?
I have it. I watched the Nerd Husband played a little bit. I'm probably going to stream it soon. Looks okay. I'm interested. I just
Okay.
finished Silver Chains that also came out this month and or last month, I guess. Um, and I really enjoyed that. That was a lot of fun.
Okay. I've never heard of that one. What's that one about?
I have like a weakness for just wandering around dark, creepy houses where like things jump out at you randomly and you try to find keys. Like that's my favorite thing. And Silver Chains is kind of that. It reminded me a lot of the Dark Occult, actually. But yeah, find keys, get jump scared in a big old creepy house. That's my happy place.
So my introduction to playing horror games in general, because before I was like, absolutely not, I will not do it. But I had like a video game TV show that I did in Des Moines, probably 3 years ago now. But Resident Evil 7 came out and they made me play it. Like they made me play it. And I was like, I played the demo first just to get a feel for it. And then I jumped into the game. I actually got a free, like, it was so great because I got a free copy from um, Capcom. Yeah, I think it's Capcom. Whoever makes Resident Evil. I can't think of it right now. But
Um, huh.
I got a free like a free copy of the game, Resident Evil 7, and it was a blast. And that was one of my favorite parts, was just exploring and walking around and just having things jump out and scare the crap out of me. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
I mean, and it's it's such a good stream thing to do because your reactions are so big. The thing that made me so mad was that was like I was still figuring out the technical side, so that whole stream was just terrible. Like nothing came out of it good quality wise, but it was me like there were some brilliant moments. I don't know if you've played Resident Evil 7.
I have.
um
It's great. I
Oh
loved it.
man, my favorite part. So I got into the garage with the guy. I don't know
Yeah.
who. I can't remember his name, but I get in the garage with him. Let's just say his name is Ed. I think it might be Ed. I get in the garage with him, and I was thinking like a video game person. So I was like, okay, I got the keys, but I'm gonna sit on this side of the car. So then, like, he can't get to me. I'm gonna come around and get back in the car. And he got in the car instead of me, and he just starts doing donuts in the garage trying to hit me. And this was like one of the most brilliant stream moments of all time. It would probably still be one of my top clips had it not been like the whole stream was jumpy and skippy and everything, like, and I was like, No. So that's a moment I'm never gonna get back. Like I'm never gonna be able to recreate that magic of just
Right.
the, I mean, the general shock of like, what is he doing? Wait a minute, like and just scream. But those moments make a great stream. I think doing specific horror is a great idea. I was hoping to do October, like mostly horror games, because
Oh yeah.
I've got Blair Witch. I bought Friday the 13th on PC for like $4 the other day on Humble Bundle. And Friday the 13th, if you've seen that one, that one's just a blast. It's hilarious.
Absolutely.
Um,
Actually, we're going to be playing it some on Friday, I think, which is actually the 13th, is it not?
yeah, yeah,
It is.
yeah.
How perfect. I didn't even realize that. So my birthday's on Thursday and I'm taking the day for me.
You
But
should.
Friday but Friday we're doing a birthday stream and we're going to be playing Friday the 13th, and that's so funny. It will be Friday the 13th.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
gonna be Friday the 13th, and then everyone else is pointing out as well. Well, at least where I don't know if it's everywhere the exact same time, but it's a full moon
I've
on
heard
Friday the
that.
13th as well.
Like a is it harvest moon, full harvest
Yeah,
moon?
people are like, see me like a full harvest moon. It's Friday the 13th. Like the witches are coming, like that type of stuff.
Spooky day, so
Yeah,
good.
like the stars are aligning, and I'm like, that's cool. We'll see how that goes. I'm excited. But no, I bought that just to kind of like added, and there's other spoopy games. I got Little Nightmares. I think that'll be a fun like October stream.
It's a
Um,
cute game. I like that. I play on PC, and generally I much prefer mouse and keyboard, but for Little Nightmares it was very awkward. So if you have a controller, I might recommend it.
I mostly use a controller. I had a friend of mine, one of my followers, get mad at me because I use a controller when I play. Like I've been working on Fallout New Vegas. He's like, why are you using a controller? PC Master Race, and I'm like, I'm just a controller person. That's
Yeah.
that's what I do. Unless I have to use a mouse and keyboard, like RTS and stuff like that. StarCraft, those type of games, I'll play with a mouse and a keyboard. But other than that, I prefer a controller.
I'm
It's
trash
more
with the
comfortable.
controller. I was like, I'm just bad at games, and then I got my computer and I was like, oh wait,
I can
this is
point.
how this is how I can play. Like I'm actually not terrible.
I'm the opposite. I most like, especially if it's a point and shoot, like I can't do it with a mouse. I've tried. People are like, it makes you better. You're better with it. And I'm like, no, I'm far worse. Like I'm far worse. You just need to practice. I'm like, I've been practicing. Like it's just not me. Just not how I'm
Yeah.
wired. We're all wired different, I think.
To each their own. Nothing wrong with that.
So you've got you're going to TwitchCon. Is it this weekend or it's the next?
Oh,
When
I
is
hope it's not
TwitchCon?
this weekend. No, it starts the 27th, 28th, and 29th.
Okay, and then you have a thing for yoga, don't you? That you're going to be doing for it?
I do. I'm so excited. I'm going to be teaching yoga for gamers as a panel at TwitchCon.
That's amazing. That's so
I'm so
cool.
stoked.
I would be incredibly stoked as well. Like that is a huge achievement. Like what did it take for you to get that? Did they approach you? Did you approach them?
So, I was watching Gothic's model, and she was talking about like taking your shot, just not being afraid, taking your chance. And I was like, what if I wrote to Twitch and asked them if I could teach yoga for gamers at TwitchCon? And I looked all over the TwitchCon website. This was earlier in the year, and there's nothing about content for the event or who to talk to, like nothing. And I was like, okay. So I sent in a like a help ticket. I was like, hey, you probably don't know, but can you send me to the right person who might know how I can, submit to this? Of course, I got no response. Um,
Oh.
um, and I reached out to a friend who's a partner who connected me with a staff member from Twitch who told me that they would be releasing or opening submissions for content closer to the event. Okay, I'll wait. So every day I just check the website, just anxiously waiting to see when those submissions were open. And the day that they opened, I took the day off from everything. I made videos. I made a brief little montage of my yoga classes. I did an intro video talking about myself, talking about my experience, why this mattered to me, why I thought it was important to have at TwitchCon. Um, had to write out a description of my proposal for them, and I just spent the whole day trying to make it perfect and sent it off and prayed. I actually like I went on Facebook. I'm a believer. I went on Facebook. I was like, "Hey, prayer warriors, like this is important to me. Please help me out." And a friend of mine was like, "The vision has been given to you. Like it will be." I was like, I love your confidence. But she was right. Like I just kind of felt like it felt right. Like it felt like this was something that was going to happen. Despite the fact that I'm teeny tiny and brand new. Um, and this is, such a different thing for Twitch, but I was like, it just feels right. And then I got the email from them early last month, or maybe the end of July. And I think it was early last month. And it starts off with like, we've had so many submissions come in this year. And I was like, oh, here we go.
Yeah. Here's my no.
Yeah. But it was like, and you were one of the top or whatever, like, welcome to your presentation at TwitchCon. And I was like, what? And I was so excited. My husband was like, read the email. And I was trying to read it. And it was like, you'll need to send in and I was just couldn't like speak. I was so excited.
That's awesome. So, so I mean, you're just gonna be teaching yoga, right? I mean, because like I was like, man, it'd be cool. My brain is already expanding. It's like you should have health talks. You should have this and that, and maybe I mean, who knows? Maybe next year that's your panel. Um,
Maybe that's great. Actually, I have some great people I would love to collaborate on a panel like that for next year. So I'm doing a brief little intro about myself, about what yoga is and how yoga can benefit you. Then I'm going to be teaching a class and allowing for a Q&A at the end.
that's so cool. I mean, there's just nothing else out there that I know of that's like that. I mean, do you think there's a large yoga community out there on Twitch, or I mean, do you feel like you have a lot of competition, or do you feel ahead of the pack?
There are other yoga streamers on Twitch. I feel, and I hate to toot my own horn. I hate to be braggy. It's like my least favorite thing. I feel in some ways I'm ahead of the pack because I had a connection to the community first. I came in as a gamer and then brought in the yoga rather than coming in as a yoga person trying to connect with gamers. That, if that's not a community that you've been a part of, that's not a lifestyle that you live, it feels weird, I think, on the platform.
It is disjointed. It is a new thing, and I think it is important. I mean, especially you call yourself a nerd. You talked about horror games. You are a gamer. You're not just someone who's like. It wouldn't be like so. Like my wife, for instance, is absolutely. She does not like video games. She does not care about them. I try to talk to her about it. She's like she wanted to play Mario once, and we and I found out like she wanted to play like Mario 1. She did not want to play Super Mario World. It took me an hour to teach her that opening move where you pick up the shell and you hit all of the Koopas at one time.
Yeah.
and just she's like I can't do this. And I was like okay. So and it would be like if she were to kind of jump in, it's an alienation there already, whereas you have a relation to people and you know where they're coming from on stuff.
Well,
you
yeah,
might
because
even know
I'm
where some
living
of the
that
problems are.
life.
Yeah.
I'm not perfect. I have some of the same struggles.
And I mean personally I think I mean, if you've got this panel, I mean, one, it's the connection to people, but also it sounds like you put a lot of effort into it. And this kind of relates back to a little bit like, so I went back and I'm so mad at myself. So you did your promo day where you're gonna like promo other streamers,
Yeah.
and I sent you an email and everything. I got everything good to go, and I was so mad because I completely like at Monday I was like, okay, Wednesday I'm gonna set aside the time and I'm gonna watch that, and I was so excited. And then I blew through the week like something like it was just a week. Like things were going on. I had like it was a messy week, and I got and I like Saturday hits, and I was like, oh, I didn't watch it, and so I went back and I watched the VOD. Like I watched that part that you were actually able to feature me on. You were talking about like
Yeah.
at the end, your commentary was like make a reel if you haven't, guys. It seems like you, because they like some people are like, I don't know how to do that. You were like, oh, I'll help you. Like, are you pretty well versed at editing and stuff?
Um, Editing is new to me. I first started learning Premiere in January. But I've taken pretty well to it and I pick things up fast. So if I don't know how to do it, I'll figure it out pretty quickly. I'm not an expert, but if someone's just starting and they need some basic information on how to do that, I can help with that. That's no problem.
It
I
seems
love it.
it seems like you took some time though to like edit and create videos for your panel, right?
I did.
I mean, that
Yes.
sets you aside from someone who's just sending clips, who's just sending this and that. And I think that's the most important note that I've ever seen on Twitch is um, separating yourself, making yourself look better. And the best way to do that is add production quality,
Yeah.
which is the most difficult thing. And it seems like you did that. Like you you put in effort where some people were probably like, if there were yoga streamers trying to get a panel at Twitch, which I'd be surprised if there were other people. I don't think they put the energy that it seems like you put into it. Like I think you stand out. You really do.
Well, thank you. That means a lot. I really appreciate that. And I want it to feel like something. I don't want it to feel like the yoga that suburban moms take, or the yoga that like hippies are into. I want it to feel like a yoga that is for us. And that's why I did a giveaway. I did like a challenge on Twitter, posting pictures of poses and asking people to rename them with a gamer inspired name. And so downward facing dog is now Pandora because it looks like the logo from Borderlands,
Oh wow.
and things like that. So yeah, we're we're trying to create our own vocabulary and our own little world of uh, yo gamers.
I mean, yo gamers, that's so brilliant. That's so awesome.
Thank you.
I mean, anytime I ask my wife about certain exercise moves, sometimes she'll just look at me and go, I honestly don't know what it is. We just made up the name for it at work.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
Yeah.
okay. So,
Somebody asked me about a posture the other day, and I was like, I don't know. And so I looked it up and I was like, apparently nobody else knows either. So we're
yeah.
just going to call this the glute stretch and move on.
I mean, that's cool though, because you know what you're doing is you're opening yourself up. You've created a vocabulary that's gamer related. Give yourself 6 months. You could write a book with like pictures, and you could have like an ebook, like an Ashley Christ ebook, like she has. She's making money because that's one of the coolest things about making money on this is like if you're creative about it, there's plenty of ways. But a lot of people are doing like advice books and stuff like that. You have like the edge where you can make like a gamer's yoga book. That's
This is not something I ever considered.
You
So,
should do
what
it.
percent do you want for that?
None. Don't give me percentage. You're a businesswoman now. Take it
Ah.
all.
Well, I like the idea, and I'm gonna put that in my idea book. Thank you.
I mean, it's a good idea, but it's just, I mean, it's those little things. You're starting with something small, and you're growing a thing. You're doing yoga related to gamers. You're discussing how it relates to gamers specifically, because I mean that's the other part about fitness is who you're talking to and what needs they need fulfilled. Yoga stretches you out. Well, there's a lot of gamers with back problems out there. So how do you stretch them out this way or that way? Some people want to find balance in their life, like health wise. You can talk to them about food. What's a good what are good fuel snacks while you're gaming? Instead of having G fuel, what is an actual healthy G fuel? What is the real G fuel for like gamers?
Yeah.
What should you put in your water? What you should be eating while you're gaming? Because like for me, I mean, I go and I grab some nuts and a granola bar, and then I come back and I start streaming.
Yeah, nuts are good. Nuts are good.
Oh,
I put lemon oil in my water, and it's energizing and detoxifying, and it feels good. Tastes good.
that's so cool. You could have a
Yeah.
gamer's recipe book then too. You're gonna be rich. You're gonna call me in 6 months. You're like, I'm rich.
I will totally hook you for that.
Oh, but yeah, I mean, I just think you're sitting on some really cool stuff. You're not exactly sitting on it. You're actually actively using it, and you're growing it. And I mean, I'm sure these ideas that I just gave you, I'm sure they would have come to you eventually. You know.
Yeah, I have a few ideas that I'm kind of working on. I guess I don't want to like spill the beans too much, but one of the big ones that I really want to work towards in the future is a line of gamer inspired yoga clothes for men and women.
That's awesome.
Um, I think that like the world of fitness clothes for men or yoga clothes for men is like very small. And
I don't.
also, go ahead.
Well, I don't know what yoga clothes for men would entail. I'm interested.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like it's sort of like this ambiguous like yoga clothes for men. I don't know, just put on shorts and a t-shirt, but like I think we can make a thing for men to feel comfortable and fun in yoga class. And also I think for women, a lot of we have our sexy gamer girls for sure. But I know there's a lot of gamer girls that don't like to show their body, that prefer to be a little more modest, that, don't want to wear booty hugging yoga pants. So maybe we come up with some ways to, give them something fun and cute that makes them feel covered and confident as well.
This is brilliant. You're gonna be rich in like a year.
We shall see. There's just so much on my how to make it all happen.
Well, and that's the terrifying part. I mean, I talked to you a little bit earlier before we started the stream. I'm looking at buying a sandwich shop, or like
Yeah.
owning or just opening and operating a sandwich shop. And it's there's a, to the smallest businesses. There's a lot of numbers. There's a lot of factors. But like with clothing, with writing books or ebooks and stuff like that, there's little investment. Really, I mean, some clothing now. I so when we did the Just Another Nerdy podcast, there was like 6 hosts, and I made a pair of yoga pants that was all of our faces from the butt down to the leg.
I love that.
It was just me goofing off, I never shared a link or tweeted it out, but I sent a picture to my buddy because he was the top, so it was his face right on the cheek, and
Right
he's
on the
just,
booty cheek.
yeah, he sent me a message. He's like, "Why?" It's like, because I'm bored. But I mean,
I
you could,
love it.
like, it's so easy to set up like a clothing line anymore and get that out there. But if you want to put in more energy, you can even put in more energy and have, have command over the quality and stuff like that. But the more that you put into it, the scarier it gets. Like,
Yes.
someone asked me how I was doing this morning, and they're like, "Are you feeling better about things?" I'm like, "I feel like I have more headaches."
And it's really unfortunate. I do get a lot of headaches, and that's something that I'm working to address. But yeah, I do get a lot of those because my brain 100% of the time
Mhm.
reeling and working, what's next, what's next.
Try sleeping on, like, and I'm not saying you do that because I'm sure you probably have the same thing. Like, the first night that I was thinking about this idea, I couldn't sleep. Like, it was my brain saying the same thing over and over and over again. For some reason, I was selling a sandwich to someone over and over and over again in my brain. And I'm like,
I
"Go
totally
to
get it.
sleep." I was like, "Shut off, go to sleep." And it's like, "No, we have things to discuss." I'm like, "We have to discuss them tomorrow." Because
Now is not the time.
yeah, because the other thing about business is it's hurry up and wait.
Yes.
Hurry up and wait. Okay. I want to do everything today, and I could do a lot of things today, but if I did it all today, there's a lot of risk. So,
Yes.
if there's one piece of advice everyone keeps telling me, it's slow down, slow down. I'm like,
And that's hard. That's a really hard thing to do.
oh yeah,
For people, I mean, obviously you're like a motivated and excited person, and I'm the same way. And when you're in it and you're ready, you just want to push, you just want to go. And being still is difficult.
oh yeah. You never know when that energy is gonna leave you.
Right.
Are you gonna wake up tomorrow and all of a sudden you're gonna have no motivation to do the thing that you want to do? Luckily, and I found myself finding a little more success, especially investing time into Twitter with Twitch. But it's, it's something that I love to do. And when you love something, it helps. But it's
Yes.
still that fear of something, of like no energy tomorrow is terrifying. you know?
Yes, it is. It is. But my friend posted something a while back that I really appreciated, and I don't remember the details exactly, but it was like the difference between motivation and like determination. And then like motivation's not always going to be there. You're not going to wake up and be like, "Let's go" every single day, but if you're determined, you can wake up and go, "I'm doing this whether I want to or not." And it's just a habit. You just have to train yourself and change your mindset to do what you need to do because you know it needs to be done whether you like it or not.
That makes complete sense.
Yeah.
That's an awesome idea. I've probably been fighting on that one a little bit. Like, I mean, this morning, like I did skip streaming this morning, but I knew I had to go and do other things and I thought to myself, should I go out and do this thing now? And I was like, yeah, you should go out. You need to do this thing now. Go make the energy. Like I had to go to the local store to find out like how much bread costs, and there was like a ton of construction all the way there. I was like,
Oh,
every other excuse to say maybe today's not the day, but I was like, I'm just gonna find out how much bread costs. Like, just go do it. You know, little
good.
things. So it's fun, but like, so so you have these plans and stuff. How are you actively working on the yoga clothes thing right now, or is that an idea that's mulling over right now and about to come to fruition? You know what I mean?
Yeah, there have been no active steps in that direction yet. Other than some like basic research on manufacturing and things like that.
That's pretty
Lots of
active.
uh, eh,
Compared to what some people research is an act like is a step in the right direction. Some people don't do that.
yeah,
That's pretty active.
sure.
But so
Uh,
you're not there yet. Like it's not like a rolling thing yet. You're not like next week clothing
oh, no, no,
line.
no, not quite yet. Right now my focus is trying to get the Yoga for Gamers YouTube channel up. Um, Doing my gaming YouTube channel has been easy peasy. It's not hard to record a gaming video at all. I mean, I've even like edited in like some funny little dance clips and things, like it's been easy. That's easy. But trying to make a super quality yoga stream where the audio is good, audio has been really difficult because I got a lav mic, but then when I like move when I'm doing the yoga, like
Hmm.
it changes the volume. Trying to like figure out how to do that. It's like, okay, I'll do voiceovers, but then that's like a whole nother layer. And do I want it to be outside with all these pretty, B-roll shots, or just like keep it simple in the living room? Like trying to design the brand, eh, you know, for the YouTube channel has been incredibly challenging for me, and I want it to be right. And that's why it's been delayed, because I just want it to be right.
Well, so okay, so I would say definitely like you've decided like definitely not a lav mic. I think a lav mic is very difficult for anything that involves movement. Like if you're gonna do a lav mic, you have to sit still. Have you
Yeah.
considered like a Rode mic or like a shotgun microphone?
I have a shotgun mic. I have to play with that a little bit.
I would say definitely consider the shotgun mic. It might be a slight drop in quality um, over a voiceover, but I think a shotgun mic will get you where you need to go. I mean, look at
Yeah.
it. Any of those like the React videos and stuff. A lot of times they have a shotgun mic on, and that's why you hear the person echoing in the background is because they're
Yeah.
talking behind it. And if you listen to their quality, it's pretty good quality. I mean, it depends on the microphone you're going to use, but I got one for 20 bucks, I think, actually. It's sitting at someone's house because we were working on a D&D thing, but that's still a time investment.
Wait, are you a D&D fan?
I a little bit. I grew up. My uncle would play a campaign from time to time. I'm always a halfling like wizard that wants to do fire cone. I just like to light stuff on fire. That's my favorite, and it either causes a lot of problems or it causes some really good miracles to happen. It's Dungeons and Dragons. You never know how it's going to work out.
You never know.
My
I
first
just started this year.
campaign.
I love it.
Oh, did you just? My first campaign on the one that we were trying to record, people were like pulling me aside, like, "Listen, if you keep acting the way you're gonna act, your character's gonna die." And I'm like, "Then I will create another little pyro halfling." They're like, You know, because people get serious about it, and that's part of why I
Yeah,
didn't
they
play a
do.
lot of Dungeons and Dragons growing up. I stepped away because a lot of my friends were too serious, and I'm not a serious person. I've told them this, and I just said, listen, like, you can invite me, but understand I'm not going to be as serious about everything as you are.
Yeah.
And
Our
that's,
DM, our
yeah.
DM is very serious and the players are not, so it's really funny.
Yeah, yeah. Well, when everyone's on board with being not so serious, that's fine. I kind of had a guy in my group that was sort of a bit of a stinker, I would say, and he would sort of put a kibosh to fun, and I would
Hmm.
just say, okay, I'm not gonna play then. So, but this new, I mean, the newer one that we were working on, it came down to scheduling. I was completely open one day, and then I wasn't open one day, and I think that's an important thing. The DM just like pulled me aside. And he's like, I need you to either commit or not. Like, I need to know, so then because this is me putting hours of planning into this, so I need to know what's
Yeah.
going to happen with you. And I finally just said, like, I don't think I can commit to it because time wise, but I left my shotgun mic with him. I left a recorder and I said, do what you want. And I don't think they ever recorded anything.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
a shame.
Yeah. But it's fine because they would require me editing stuff. And I like you say, it's like a time commitment. But I would say
Yeah.
for your videos, look at a shotgun mic. That's I think that'll help you a lot. Like, but I'm super excited. You have to send me. You don't have a link to it yet, do you?
I do.
You,
There's nothing on it yet, but my about is there.
you still have to send me a link
Coming
because
soon.
I think that's gonna be an awesome thing.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I and keep working at it. I think you're sitting on some really cool stuff. You really are. You're not just sitting on it. You're developing these things. There we go.
Developing. I definitely feel like I'm at a point where I'm ready for a little more growth personally. Like I'm ready for some more training for my knowledge so that I can serve people better. Trying to decide what that next step is, whether I go for the 300-hour yoga training, whether I add Pilates just to the mix, whether I do a nutrition course. Like I'm not entirely sure what the next step is for me. I tweeted out last week or something. I said, "Is 31 too old to go to med school?" I was like, "What's my next step?" I don't know. I'm definitely not going to med school, but I am looking to expand my knowledge on the body and how to help it work better.
That's awesome. It's so cool because you have just this well of knowledge and you have a related ability, and I think that's going to set you aside from everyone.
Thank you.
I think it already sets you aside from everyone. But let's talk about these. You were doing that promo series for a little bit, like, or you did a promo video where you like showed off other streamers. Was that something new, or do you do that every now and then where you have people like send in clips, and then you kind of show it off? Is like where did that idea come from, and is that new?
That was the first time I had ever done that. I asked a question on Twitter a while back, like why people choose to have the no self promotion in their rules in their panels. I wasn't like coming from any opinion. Like I just wanted to know why people chose to do that. I don't have that. Why do you choose to do that? And it caused a huge discussion. It blew up, and people were mad at me for asking that question. And people were like, "Why would anyone want rules?" So I had like two opposite camps that had super opinionated about it, and then I had a few people that were trying to like sort out their thoughts on it. It became this huge thing. It made me think a lot about self promotion, about the relationships we have with other content creators. And for me, it's not about competition because we're all doing something different. We all have something to offer that nobody else does. And I love and adore the people in my community. I don't always know the most about them. So I wanted the opportunity to learn about them, to see what they were creating, to let them see each other so that they could grow together and like, oh, I didn't know you did that. I love that. So maybe I'll spend more time with them. Um, I mean, why not? For me, it is about sharing. It's about being a team and you know, giving love to each other. And this was a way for me to give love to the people who have supported me.
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting balance. As someone who, I'm a streamer that likes to pop in and check on other people's streams. I think the rule of etiquette should fall down to, if someone's completely open with it and fine, like, that's fine. But most people, like, I come in, even the people who are most hardened on no promotion, no self promotion. There's a guy, his name is, so he's one of the first people I interviewed. His name is Smokin' Dank 5280.
Awesome.
Yeah, Dank is. Hang on, I've got this noise. Thank you, Dirty Mike, for the host. By the way, my host noise goes just a little too long. So Dank's really hard on, like, don't self promote. Don't backseat game me. But he's very much on, like, no self promotion. But I interviewed him, and now every time I pop in and I say, "Hey Dank, how's it going?" He's like, "Oh, hey guys, we need to shout out
Chicken
J Diehm."
nuggets is like my
and
family.
and it's just one of those things where, like, if you create a relationship with someone, they don't mind it as much. But if you're that,
Right.
but there's nothing more annoying than if there's that person that pops in and just says, "Check out my stream," drops the link, runs away. you know?
Oh yeah, that was a huge topic that came up in the tweet uh, thread, was just the randos.
Yeah, and those people, they're annoying.
Best tea party.
Crystal, welcome. Nugget Meal, welcome. You guys are. I mean, we've been talking for about an hour, but you're not terribly late to the party. um, so I don't think that's totally cool, but I think if you develop a relationship with someone, and here you are saying, like, I want to get to know these people,
Yeah.
and that's it. It's all about a relationship, and it's interesting because if you ask anyone the top advice on how they were to become a better, like, how you become a more successful streamer, check Harris Hellers, check Ashley Christ, check Guy Level, they're all going to say collaboration. One of the biggest keys is collaboration. So you want to develop a relationship with other streamers, and there has to be some cross promotion there, which doesn't necessarily mean self promotion, but it is an interesting thing on the topic. Like, a good, your success depends on how much you develop a relationship with someone. You know.
Absolutely. And I think people misunderstand the term networking very often. It's just, hey, check out my stuff. Hey, check out my stuff. Hey, check. That's not networking. That's
Yeah.
spamming.
Yeah.
um, but taking the time to get to know the people that support you, or reaching out to people who are doing similar things to you. Like I said, I've had a really great time getting to know the gamer doc, who is an actual medical doctor, but she's working to bring wellness to the esports world. That's like her passion, and I loved finding her, and we mesh and we can serve each other in really special and unique ways. She has knowledge that I don't, and I have knowledge that she doesn't, and but we're still working for the health of gamers. So finding people that are doing similar things to you and working together to better the community, I think, is an amazing way to network.
Yeah, it's a cool thing, and it's part of why I do this is because I want to. First of all, I do want to connect with people, but the main thing, I like to get to know other streamers. You learn things. I've learned. So, there's that. You can always see how many people are watching you. You can always click and find out how much people are watching you. If I didn't do these interviews, I would still be looking at the numbers constantly while I was streaming, seeing how many people are watching right now. But one of the streamers I interviewed said, "Yeah, you should turn that off. It helps." Oh, okay. So I purposely leave that off. Some people were talking about quality. Um, I don't know if this is still an issue. I feel like it's changed, but for a while there, partnered streamers you could adjust the quality while watching their stream. So if
Oh.
if their quality was too high. So say they're streaming 4K. Say you're not a partner. Say you're affiliate streaming 4K. You would not be able to adjust the quality to 720p. It would be trying to stream out 4K to your whatever you're watching. So your download rate would be a lot bad. So some people can't watch that. So someone was telling me stream in 720p. You should be streaming in 720p unless you're a partner. Okay. I don't know if that's an issue anymore. I've been looking it up. There's plenty of affiliates I've watched that I've adjusted the quality on. So I don't know.
I was just going to say, I think I'm looking at it here. I think that we can. So
yeah.
Interesting.
So beforehand, though, they were like streaming 720p. It made a difference. Yeah. It really did. Because I noticed there were people that would pop in and then leave almost immediately. And I'd be like, that's kind of weird. Like, I'm not saying that my content wasn't pushing people away, but I'm like, it's sort of a strange, like, split-second decision for them to be like, and I'm gone. So, so it helped a little bit at the time, and it was because of one of these interviews I did. You get to know people, you get to learn from them, and I'm sure, like, who's that streamer you mentioned before? The Gamer Doctor?
Yeah, the Gamer Doc.
Gamer Doc, I'm sure you guys have learned a lot from each other. I'm sure that she's learned a lot from you, and you've learned a lot from her. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I told her, I was like, I keep having these tension headaches that stem from my neck and shoulders. I think it's this forward head tilt when I'm like editing and sitting like this. And I was like, oh, like, what can I do? And she was like, sit up straight. No, but she was basically saying, like, if I pull my shoulders back, it's basically impossible for me to like pull my neck forward. I was like, oh, I never really thought about that before, So if I'm sitting up straight and my shoulders are back, like I can't pull on my neck, if your head's over here, you have all of this, it's all this extra weight that is pulling on your spine, and that really takes a toll. So if you just line it up, which I talk about in yoga, head over heart, heart over pelvis, same idea. When you're sitting, less neck pain.
I've never thought about that, but I do have days that it's like, I'll be like I'll stop streaming and I'm like, but like right now I'm like, most of my body's straight. Yeah. Right now. And I haven't had that, but sometimes I'll be like getting into, like you said, like getting into editing and it's like, ow, ow, and then you go to work, cause I'm a waiter. So I'm up and running a lot, and any neck pain is not fun when you're in the middle of that because, you're just constantly moving. So I'll go to work after something like this and then I'll be like, I can't. Like,
oh, you poor thing. Shoulders back. Shoulders back.
Shoulders back. That makes so much sense. The more you know. We've learned so much.
And I took that information, I incorporated it into my yoga practice. So I started doing more like baby cobras, or like this thing where I just sit, I put my hands on my knees and I pull my shoulder blades closer together. So I'm strengthening my upper back, opening, stretching across the chest. So it's easier and becomes kind of second nature for me to sit with my shoulders back.
That's so cool. What? Yeah. Okay. So what, I want to go back to this. You were talking about how you're kind of making like a gamer's yoga, like word, like, what is it, names, like you're naming.
Oh, the vocabulary.
Yeah. Vocabulary. Yeah. That's the word my brain didn't want to think of today. You had a gamer's yoga vocabulary. What are some of your favorites? I want to talk about some of these. Like, what are some names? What do they represent if you have a name for them?
Yeah, I'm pulling some of them up right now. Some of the things that people came up with, they were very cool. So the warrior poses, like warrior 1, warrior 2, warrior 3, some of the most like standard poses that we use in almost every yoga class. Someone decided to call it Ready Player 1 instead of Warrior 1. And so now we have Ready Player 1, Ready Player 2, and Ready Player 3. I thought that's just gold. That was so cool. Wonderful. Sukhasana, easy seated pose, which is essentially just like crisscross applesauce. You just sit with your legs crossed. I guess it's Indian style, but I guess we don't say that anymore. Is that a thing? We don't say that anymore?
I know what you're talking about. Growing up, that was what we called it. Whether or not the title has changed, I mean, I suppose there is some offensive nature behind that. So maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But now you understand what I was talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
We decided someone named that Dalsim. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
I'm not. Do you know what that reference is?
I had to look it up, but when I did, I was like, "Oh my God, that's so great." It's a Street Fighter.
Okay. Oh, I immediately know what you're talking about now.
Yeah. I was like, "Oh, this is perfect. Absolutely. We're calling it that."
There you go. That's so cool.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, boat pose. Where your body, you're kind of like that you're sitting, so like this is your tailbone and your
Right.
legs are up, and you're kind of on this angle. Someone named that mushroom boost. Because if you think about how like the character kind of revs up in Mario Kart and Mushroom Boost, like they're kind of tilted and the front of their car is kind of up. So
Oh,
it sort of looks like Mushroom
that's
Boost
cool.
when
Well,
you're in
and
boat
you're
pose.
like, so these aren't just like, because my brain, whenever you're describing it, was coming up with like 10 different names that it could relate to. But this, like, Mushroom Boost comes like with an actual level of thought to it. It's not just like I
Yeah.
was thinking, oh, boat. So then I was trying to think of the name of the boat in Wind Waker. And then I was like, that would be it. I bet that's going to be it. And you're like, no, Mushroom Boost. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, people put some really interesting thought into the names that they came up with. I was really impressed. Like what was the one? Forward fold. So where you, I mean, you basically just stand and bend over to like touch your toes, right? Someone named that SNES.
uh,
And I was like, wait, what? And then I was like, they explained it, and I thought this is amazing. It's because they haven't been able to touch their toes since Super Nintendo was their main console.
I love it.
I was like, yes, it's that. Thank
I
you.
love that. That's, I mean, I could, fortunately, I can still touch my toes, but
Yeah.
that's amazing. I relate to that.
I know. I know, it's so good. And there was a close second for Sukhasana for Dalsim, and it was so difficult. But the close second was Saturday morning. And they provided a picture with it because it was a kid sitting cross-legged in front of the TV, like on a Saturday morning,
Right.
watching cartoons. And it was like, oh, that's so good. That's so nostalgic. I love that. But I mean, Dalsim was just, it had to be.
It ties into the gamer theme a little bit more. Like Saturday morning is like a 90s kid um thing, but it doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily have to speak to gamers, you know. I mean, you could be a
Right.
fan of Recess and still not know what Switch is, you know.
Right.
So that makes sense.
But it was good. I still really liked it.
That is, yeah, no, it is brilliant because I mean, those things relate. They still relate.
Yeah.
Wow, I I love some of those. Those are really really awesome. I really hope if you come out with a book at some point, let me know. I'll be one of your first customers because if there be anything I can get my wife behind on me like frivolously spending on, it's a video game yoga book. She'd be like, yes, yes.
She's like, welcome to my world.
Yeah, do it. Well, the other day, like I threw out my back, picking up my dog. She's like 80 pounds. Yeah, I picked her, like we were trying to get her in the car to take her for a walk, like nearby. And I finally got tired of her just not wanting to get in the car because my dog's afraid of everything. She's the biggest dog in the world, but she's terrified of everything. So I picked her up and I set her in the car and she was making a noise. I set her in the car and, you know, close the door and we sit in the car and then we drive and I get out of the car and all of a sudden my back's out. And so my wife's
Oh.
like, we're gonna do some yoga. And I was like, I don't want to do yoga. And she's like, no, you're gonna do it. You're gonna do it. She had me on the floor. So like doing all these stretches. I'm like, I don't like this.
How did you feel afterwards?
Slightly, it's so weird. Like it still hurt, but I felt like I could move. Whereas
Yeah.
beforehand, I didn't feel like I could move. It was the same pain, but I was still able to like I was able to function, which is the most important thing. At least for me, like you know, my job is very physically demanding. I like to run. If I can't run, then I become less active. That's my preferred form of exercise, and so if I can't function, it sucks. You know, and on top of that, you don't want that back pain while you're trying to sit there and like stream on Twitch, or, you know, having an already existing back pain when you're doing that is terrible. So it felt like I could function. Like the pain was still there and it subsided over time. It's gone.
Right.
Like it was about a week or two and it was gone. But that day, like I could barely move, and then she made me stretch out, and then I could move again. So I was like, okay, good.
That's good. Yeah, it's definitely not magic, but it does help.
Yeah. Some people like don't realize that. I mean, I've learned a few things. You know, I went to school for theater. That's where my college degree is in. And
Woot.
they taught me how to do Pilates and different some yoga stretches. But those were the classes that help you the most in being able to do some of the things that you want to be able to do as an actor. You know, I mean, look at some of those. If you look at any stage performer that's a bigger guy like me, I mean, he's still got muscle, you know, or she, you know, it's still there, you know, they're lean, they're cut, they still have the muscle, but they just have weight on top, you know. It's ironic, you can be fit and fat at the same time. In some ways, I don't, and I'm not saying you should be overweight, because there are a lot of health complications there. But those things help, you know.
Yeah, I'm struggling with my weight for the first time in my entire life. I never had to think about it. And I'm the heaviest I've ever been, but I'm also the strongest I've ever been. So that's interesting.
That's one thing I've always had a discussion with my wife, because she is very conscious about, you know, her weight and stuff. And sometimes I'm just like, listen, you've been weightlifting. You do work out almost all day long, you know, if not if not anything, you're still standing. I said, sometimes I think maybe it's just your muscle. You know, she's like, how did I gain weight here and then lose weight there? And I'm like, I think you're building muscle. Cause if you look at her upper body is more like she's getting muscle up in her upper body more than she did, you know, years ago. And I've known her for a long time.
Muscle does way more.
Like she started off, she was going to school to be an OB nurse, and I talked her into finding another passion. Ironically, I talked my wife into being a personal trainer.
That is very different from OB to personal training.
Yeah. Well, she was doing something similar. She was working with sports people, and she really enjoyed it. And then she found a career path in that, and then she got a job right off the bat. Like it, you know. I think it's there's a lot of room to be not specifically a personal trainer, but like someone in the health profession. I think there's a lot of room out there that would surprise people.
Yeah, well, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, so it's a good place to be.
Yeah. There's corporate places that'll hire you. There's, you know, you could open up your own studio. You could open up your own gym. There's gyms everywhere. You know, find an Anytime Fitness or a Planet Fitness or anything like that somewhere. My wife just happened to be lucky, and there was a hospital hiring in the town that I'm from. You know, we were living 3 hours from where I am, her and I both. And she found her way back to my town, which was interesting. Because a lot of people are like, oh, are you taking her back to? I'm like, no, she's there right now, and I'm still in school. So, you know, it's interesting. The health profession is an interesting field. But she's been doing it for forever now. So that is one thing. She thinks about her weight, but I think some of it just comes from being like fit. I think, you know, you build muscle, or sometimes you lose muscle. You know, if you don't use it, you lose it.
True. Very, very true.
I don't know. I'm talking a lot about random stuff. Why don't we should probably cap off here soon. But okay. I do have the one question. I always like to end the stream with the main question. What advice do you have for streamers who are aspiring to stream, who are thinking about getting into the field? Especially, you've come back a couple times now, or you've come back once, but like you've jumped in a couple times now. What from your perspective, what advice would you have for someone who's thinking about streaming?
Know your why, I think, is probably my best advice. Like the number one thing I think is know your why. If you want to do it for fun and just hang out, then cool, then do that. Then there's not much more to say at that point. Then just have fun, learn, do the best you can, doesn't matter. If you want to make it a business, then you have to get focused about that. You have to make specific and intentional decisions if you want to make it a business. And don't let anybody tell you that it's wrong or bad to do that, because people like to say that you should not do that. You can care about people and be a good person and still want to run a business. They're not mutually exclusive. But yeah, so off the bat, if you're going to get started, know whether you want to do it for fun or you want to do it for a career or for business, because that will define how you approach everything.
Okay, so are you approaching it as a business, or are you approaching it as someone who wants to do it for fun right now?
I am trying to approach it as a business, which I'm sure some people will hear and not be happy about. But that doesn't mean like I'm here to take advantage of people, you know what I mean? Or like I like I never mention donos, I never mention subs, I never mention like any of that. Like when other people do, I'm always really awkward about it, and I'm working on that. Um, like I'm not in it to like make $1 million tomorrow, you know what I mean, and bleed people dry. I'm in it to make smart business decisions and not necessarily rely on my viewers and friends to be my source of income. You know what I mean? Like when I get a clothing line off the ground, like that is a business, you know? And when I get if I write the book, like that is a business step. Like, but it all starts with creating a community and a following and people who are interested in what I'm doing and sharing, who might benefit from what it is I have to offer.
And you're looking at right now, because it seems like you're pretty open with people about, not saying like, oh, I'm going to make this a business, but you started this thing that could turn into a book someday. Your community helped you build that. That's something that they're going to feel personally tied to, and they're going to want to invest in.
Yeah. And I mean, I would 100% like put them in the book and say like so and so is the one who came up with this. You know what I mean? This is a team effort. Like I will credit them for that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people get confused about this idea of approaching it as a business. A lot of people, I've seen a lot of tweets about people being very sensitive about using the word networking or using the word the grind. They say, I don't want to feel like a number. And it's like, listen, you are statistically, no matter what you do in life, you'll always statistically be a number somewhere, somehow.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a bad thing to be a number. If you're just a number to someone, if that person shows that they're not interested in developing a relationship with you at all, then I think that's whether or not you want to invest in that interpersonal relationship. But I think it's fine to understand that you're a number to someone as well as a relationship. And here you are building relationships whilst building a business, and that makes it not sinister. I think you want to invest in people that you like and care about.
Yeah.
And if you want to put your money towards that, that's great. But don't knock on someone who would like to make a living living the dream. Like
right, doing what they love. Like we say
Yeah.
that we want people to live the life that they want to live. We want people to do what we want to support people. We want people to grow. But then when they talk about wanting to do that or ways that you can help them do that, then you're a money grabber.
Yeah.
And I don't think it can be both. And someone can say, I want you to grow, but then people can't be numbers. Like growth is numbers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you're growing, you have to be thinking about the numbers. But that doesn't mean those people are blind, blank, nothing but numbers.
Yeah, they're people.
They're people.
One of the smartest things I've ever seen another streamer do is they bust out a notebook anytime someone new comes in and they write down facts about them. They want to get to know the people.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but it's just people you want to get to know. Like you're talking about doing this clip thing. The clip thing you did it because you wanted to get to know people. You didn't just do it as a cross promotion effort or as a promotional effort. You did it as I want to get to know people. I want to learn what these people are doing. I want to see what they're doing. And that's an interpersonal relationship. And you can either like grow, like you you can either just say I don't want anything to do with anybody who wants to make money, or you can get to know them and see if they're worth investing in. I
And
don't think it's a
also
bad thing.
anyone that is just about the money, anyone that's just like, my goal is to make all of the money, you're gonna see that, and they're probably not gonna grow because they are missing out on the people part of things.
Yeah.
It is just the numbers.
Well, and
So
those are your spammers. Those are the people that whenever you follow them on Twitter, you get an instant message from them saying, "Thanks for the follow. Hit me up on Twitch."
right.
You know?
Hard pass, my friend.
Yeah.
I'm not. I have checked some of them out. Sometimes I'm like, oh, maybe they're good.
No,
Usually
I just
not so much.
I have a great. I mean, I have a great another guy, great name. Okay, Smoke and Dank. If that one didn't throw you, there's a butt juice soup.
I love butt juice.
Butt juice
That's
is
a
the
strange thing to
best.
say out loud. He's awesome.
Yeah, he's awesome. He legit, like, he comes out and he says, you know, if you follow him, he will send you a personal message. He goes as far as to send you a personal message to see how you're doing, to get to know you. Him and I were exchanging pictures of our stuff we were buying at the grocery store at the same exact time. And we were laughing about how we're so domestic, is what he was. He's like, how are we so domestic? I said, I don't know, man.
I love it.
So I mean, those are the people that you build a relationship with. I don't think, listen, if you have an auto DM, that's fine. My personal opinion, I think if you're going to auto DM a question. See if you can mix it up. See if you can get 5 random questions that pop out when you auto DM people, and then start a conversation. And if they don't want to start a conversation after that, that's fine. But if you develop relationships after that, those are going to be the people that want to stick with you. A guy that I met through Butt Juice, auto DM Nuggy Meal is where you send an auto direct message to someone after they follow you on Twitter. And there are ways to do that. It's just it's frowned upon. And it shows if you're just about the money by sending out your link being like, follow me, or if you're about developing a relationship. And I don't think anybody should be fooled. If that person is reaching out to get to know you, they don't see you as just a number, but they probably don't mind the the addition to their numbers. It's right. Okay. It's not a bad deal. People get so offended by that. I'm like, no, don't get offended. Stop getting so offended.
You're not gonna get sponsorships or partner or be able to reach out to work with companies unless those numbers start to improve. That's definitely like an important factor in business and social media and content creator. I mean, it's a job.
Yeah. Well, and if anyone thinks this isn't a job, they're crazy.
Right. I love the tweets. They're like, you have such an easy life. You just like play video games. I'm like,
oh, honey.
That's why I don't sleep at night, because I'm just playing video games, of course.
I was, you're a host, you're a content creator, you're a designer, you're a broadcaster. You have to learn broadcasting. I never thought, like, one day I was like, wait, what am I doing? And I was like, am I broadcasting? Like there's some guy in a control room in NBC going like, everyone can do this now. Like,
that's really funny. Yeah, you are. You're a broadcaster. You are like, I mean, you're a PC technician. Like you have to. There's so much that goes into that. A cameraman.
Middle of this interview,
audio engineer.
Oh my God! Yeah, middle of this interview, the audio goes down. I had to figure it out in like 2 seconds. Those are the problems you have to like address, and it's all live. It's not, it's not something you can edit on the spot. My buddy was asking me actually, so I have those little the Twitter clips that I put out, and I tried to do about 3 a day, and he goes, so the parts where like you zoom in on the face and everything, he's like, is that live? Like, do you do that live? And I'm like, no. I was like, there is absolutely no way. I'm like, I would have to have some pro level skills, because he goes, well, you probably have to have someone like on the side doing the switching. And I'm like, that would be nice. But what would more realistically, I would probably have to mentally know when to click a zoom in and when to zoom out. and when is that going to be appropriate and when is that going to look weird?
Yeah, you'd have to be like an editor in the moment.
Yeah,
Like
that's some god level stuff. I can't do that.
I've seen people do it. I mean, I have the Stream Deck. It is possible.
You
But
can
yeah,
kind of do.
I'm not thinking like that while I'm live.
Yeah, you can kind of do like a thing where like I've seen people like push a button and then it zooms in like way on their face. I think Meme Queen, I think is her name. She does that. There's some other people that'll zoom in on their face, and if you're setting it up for a bit, that's fine. But like, say you and I are having a candid conversation here, I'm not gonna know when's a good time to zoom in on my face, and then when's a good time to zoom in on your face with perfect timing, like an editor. Like that's nuts.
I mean, I guess I could always just like
Yeah,
get
just
real close.
right now. So, it was crazy, and I was like, no, man, I was like, there's no way. But I was thinking about it, and I'm just like, the level of skill to do that, and I'm sure there's someone out there who can. Like I mean, there are
Yeah.
people who probably are professional control board switchers. I know a guy who goes to NFL games and he runs the control board and he switches from video feed to video feed while the stuff's going on. He does
Wow.
NASCAR and college football and stuff. There are tons of people that get paid to do that. Maybe there's one on Twitch. I don't know. Buttjuice has
That's
some
cool.
broadcasting experience. I think actually, like actual I think he worked in a broadcasting field before he did this.
Oh wow.
So maybe I don't know. But that's the people who say, "Oh, you're just sitting there and playing video games." There's 100 things going on right now. Are you kidding me?
I know. Well, I had to learn about lighting. You know, I got a green screen for Christmas last year. I was like, cool, green screen, and I'll just key it in. But then I was like, key. How does this work? Like, it just keeps looking terrible. I don't understand. I had no idea that like lighting was a part of that. So
Mm-hmm.
I had to learn how to light a green screen. And the only experience I had with lighting was in college. I designed the light for one dance in like
Oh man,
one class. You know what I
even
mean? Like that was
that's
the
tough.
only experience I had.
I've had an
And stage
entire
lighting is super different.
I've had an entire stage lighting course, both regular and advanced, and I don't remember a thing.
Yeah,
I
I
don't.
remember
It's
those either.
very complicated, and so you're trying to light, this even here right now. Like I'm bothered by it, and I want to fix it, but like it's time, it's investment, it's nuts. And I used to have the same thing when I worked at a video game store years ago. People would say, "Oh, you're just sitting there playing video games." I'm like, first of all, I'm testing 64 copies of Madden 64. I understand the repetitiveness in this number, but yeah, I literally got 64 copies of Madden 64, and I'm playing the opening level just to move the character once every time. I'm like, that's not playing video games. Trust me, the enjoyment of playing video games does not come from the first 5 seconds of every video game. Like we got a couple rarities. Like if you ever seen the whole PlayStation 1 game, that game's hilarious in the first
No, I
5 seconds.
haven't.
He punches and purple clouds come out of his fists. And that was our enjoyment for the day. Out of the entire day, I couldn't tell you what else happened that entire day, but I can tell you the Hulk punches purple. And it was hilarious. But for the most part, you're doing the same repetitive task over and over again. You're alphabetizing every video game in that store, and you have to redo it twice a day. You have to re-alphabetize every video game. There's so much more to playing video games.
Was this at GameStop you said?
It wasn't a GameStop. It was actually there used to be a store in Omaha, Nebraska, and it moved to Iowa for a while called Gamers, and it was a wonderful store. And my boss opened up one in little town Iowa, and it was the last store to open before they all started falling down. They're gone. It was a dream video game because it had current video games all the way back to retro.
Nice.
And this was before GameStop was doing retro stuff.
Yeah.
Again,
we had a place called Funko Land that was like that, I think, back in the day.
It was awesome, except for you have to test everything. You have to thoroughly clean everything.
Right.
And you have to make sure that everything's good. Like, there are some nightmare things that I've learned about, like, video game consoles that still terrify me to this day. If you understand, like, your console is mostly on right now, which means it's warm. And so say that your entire house is cold, you have the one warm thing in the house. Bugs like to seek that out.
Oh,
I worked
oh,
I worked in Iowa, Crystal. But yeah, bugs like to seek that out. So there's a lot of consoles out there with bugs inside of them. So if you're ever thinking about buying a used video game console, just keep that in mind.
gross.
Make sure you're cleaning it out. Blow some air in there. Maybe blow some Raid in it. I don't know. But it's just a terrible thing. Um, how do you explain to people who aren't knowledgeable about streaming about your business? That's a great question, Nuggy Meal. How do you explain that to people?
That is a good question. I usually start off saying I'm a content creator because, 2019, like a lot of people would kind of understand what that is. And they kind of, a lot of the times I still get a kind of a blank stare. I'm like, oh, I live stream yoga for gamers. I teach yoga to the gaming community. And then I usually get a lot of stares and they're like, what? That's a thing? And then I explain the need for awareness for health in the gaming community, some of the habits that we have, and that I have, a yoga background. So I share that live with people on a streaming platform.
Okay. Yeah, I normally avoid the topic of Twitch anymore because I get a lot of blank stares.
Saying the word Twitch is where you just fully lose people.
Yeah, people are what?
Yeah.
Uh,
What's
my
Twitch?
my friend investing into Twitch, he's asking me now about just basic stuff because he's used to YouTube. He'll go and watch something on YouTube. He's like, I want to watch one of your live streams. And I was like, okay, well, go to twitch.com, sign up for an account, or twitch.tv. I already made the
Yeah.
first mistake. Sign up for an account, and when you see my thing, hit the heart button, and then turn on that notification. It'll tell you. And I'm like, if you're going to watch from your phone, activate the app, and then it'll tell you exactly when I stream. And he's like, oh, great, I'll do that. But, I getting like telling people what Twitch is, and like I've had my boss who's just a very serious guy. He's a very serious, down to earth, hardworking, like restaurant guy. Um, 5 years older than me, so we're not like huge difference in age. And sometimes I feel comfortable, and I'm like try to explain to him what Twitch is, and he's like, I don't understand why people would watch someone play video games. Just like,
Well, we spoke to my father-in-law about it recently because he thinks it's cool what I do, but he's like, I don't understand why anybody would watch someone play video
yeah,
games. And I said, well, why would you want to watch somebody else play football? You
that's a
could play
great
football.
argument.
You are into the sport, right? Esports is a thing. What's the difference? You're watching somebody do something that you enjoy, who's probably better at it than you are, right? Like you watch them because they're good at it. Um,
Not my channel.
and I'm
I'll,
not great
I'll
at
say
games either, but
the retro games that we do, Nick is better than most people at retro games. So I'll give that. I'll throw
okay.
that out there. But any gaming that I do, I'll do it funnier than some people.
See, that's the thing. Yeah, you might be funnier or more engaging or, whatever. But I told him that and he's like, oh, I guess that makes sense. I was like, and add in that, like, if you were to watch your favorite football game and when your favorite player came to the sidelines, you were able to hang out with them. That's what live streaming is, right? I'm watching the thing that I love and I get to talk to the person that is doing it.
Yeah, it'd actually be really cool if I could watch. So I don't want to get into team debates here, but my wife is from Wisconsin, so she's a huge Packers fan. I know some people are like, boo, immediately. I'm like, just calm down. But that would be cool. Like you could sit there and you could watch the game and have Aaron Rodgers talk to you the entire time and say what's going through his head.
Yeah.
That'd be insane. That's the next level Twitch. You should trademark that.
Do you know what's exciting? We just found out that the Raiders Stadium, which is being built here in Las Vegas, is going to have a Twitch lounge in the Raiders Stadium.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
I'm super excited. Here's my mission. Here's my mission to get the Raiders players to do yoga for gamers in the lounge with
There
me.
you go. There you go.
Big.
That's so cool. That is such a cool idea. There's so many ideas there that you could like execute with sport. I mean, it's kind of like there for a little while, Blu-ray had a really interesting thing going on where they would, and I know they were doing this specifically with Harry Potter, but you could watch if you watched the movie at a specific time and you tapped into something, you could literally like listen to the live commentary of the actors from Harry Potter talking about the movie while you were watching it.
Oh, cool. So it was like a little, like an Easter egg kind of thing.
Kind of like a hangout thing. Yeah, like you could hang out with it. It wasn't like it wasn't hard to find. Like they had an open feature on like one of the Blu-rays. It's like drop in on this time and you'll hear commentary from these people, and they would do their
Oh,
commentary while everyone was watching the movie.
that's cool.
Yeah, it's a cool thing. Like imagine that with sports now. Imagine that with
Yeah.
movies. Like you could just watch movies and have live Twitch commentary and be able to drop your comments, and they could drop them, like they could discuss with you different that would be insane.
That would be really cool. Oh my gosh. So I feel like that would be a really cool next step for Twitch to maybe it's paid content, like separate paid content, I don't know.
It'd
But to
have to
have
be.
yeah, to have movies stream and then have the actors, interact with chat while the movie was I like this idea. I would pay for that. That would be a lot of
Yeah.
fun. If the cast of It were to, commentate the movie
I'd
on
love to
Twitch,
listen to Bill Hader talk all day.
yes.
They
I
had a
would pay
really
for
cool
that.
interview between Bill Hader and Finn Wolfhard. I'd love to have those two just talk the whole movie.
Yes.
That'd be
Oh,
so
that would be
cool.
awesome.
You could have each actor sitting with their kid counterpart, and then they would just talk. Like you could play both
Yes.
movies and have them go back and forth the entire time. That'd be
That'd be
sweet.
amazing.
But
Make it happen, Twitch.
yeah, Twitch, 2026, it's coming. I'm giving it plenty of room for legal battles.
Yeah. Yeah, figure out the legalities, make it happen.
I mean, if Twitch ever becomes it ascends its position, because I think it's kind of hitting a little bit of a ceiling right now, and pretty soon they're probably going to be I see soon they're going to be reevaluating their content. Harris Heller had this really great video about sharing, like figuring out how to make clips more of a shareable, browsable content,
Yeah.
to get people into other random channels. Something you could submit, and make that a thing. That would help. Once they're past that hurdle, I think they're going to probably start ascending, and then there's going to be things like Netflix, for instance. Netflix is now the thing that everything is trying to copy.
Yeah, I mean, could you imagine Twitch exclusive content shows?
Yeah. But
You know?
or just imagine that the NFL network is going to start their own broadcasting channel that is a lot like
Yeah.
Twitch, but with NFL players specifically. And then it gives NFL players that opportunity to learn hosting. Whereas, I mean, look at all the NFL players that become TV hosts eventually. This gives them experience and opportunity for that. And then, so NFL has its own Twitch thing. Movie networks have their own Twitch thing. Netflix has a Twitch broadcasting service for whenever Stranger Things premieres.
I love it.
You know?
I mean, there's going to be a lot of change in the next few years. I completely agree with you that I think there's kind of a change brewing. I think that there's a little bit of pushback from the community because Twitch has been about games.
Yeah.
And I think now that it's just a streaming service. Sorry about the dog.
That's all right.
I think it's just a streaming service, and I think that's going to be the future of it. Is that content people want to do live? This is going to be the place to do it. The makeup artists and the ASMR artists and the cooking shows and all of the things. The outdoors, the travel and outdoor people that are doing, their shows and vlogs and things like that. I think that stuff's going to continue to grow.
Oh, it
And
will.
the fitness community.
Yeah, the fitness community. And that's something that, like, when I started, it wasn't a thing. 5-6 years ago, you never heard about people singing on Twitch. You never heard about people doing fitness on Twitch. I had a friend get banned on Twitch because he fell asleep one time. And they said, "Oh, you're not gaming. You're not actively gaming." And they banned him.
Can you give me 1 second? I
Yeah.
am so sorry. My
That's
doorbell
fine.
just rang.
Oh,
One
that's fine.
second.
That's fine. Okay. guys, welcome to the Diehm stream. Describe your stream in 5 sentences. We're funny. Let me start by saying I love my wife, but she needs to leave me alone. Hey, I found a cookie. We do interviews.
Oh, awesome,
So,
dude.
we do buddy streams.
I guess I probably don't need the shovel anymore. Inconspicuous.
You're getting really good at the shooting.
I'm a murderous bastard.
Murderous bastard. We do retro streams.
Got it.
Woo! Woo!
Beat the game. Got him.
Woo! We're pretty green. Join us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 a.m. All right, we're back. Okay, you had, yeah. No, I wondered if there was something going on because your dog was like, ah, which normally dogs don't. They don't have anything to say until there's something new happening.
Yeah, there was a delivery that apparently I had to sign for. I have no idea what it is, so now I'm curious.
It's got to be something big. They normally don't make you sign for little things anymore. Amazon just throws my stuff on the front porch now.
Yeah, like literally toss it.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, okay. I'll like find a thing. The other day, my wife found the thing that I ordered. I was trying to like order it without her seeing it because I spent it with money that like was like change, like extra spare change. I don't like to make her worry about like, what is he spending money on? So she calls me. She's like, what did you get? And I was like, oh, I'm busted. Okay. I spent it with change, just so you know. She's like, okay. I got the floodlight that's behind me.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. They're like $20. It's pretty
Yeah.
nice. Yeah. So, but I had $20 in change because that's what I do. I collect my cash change and then I cash it out and I spend it on Twitch if I can. So,
Not a bad plan. It's a smart plan.
yeah. Well, that way I'm not wasting too much money. What I wanted to do was save up for Borderlands, but I'm never going to get there.
Is it out or is it still a couple of days? Because I think I saw
Borderlands?
Pokemon was playing, but I didn't know if she had like an early release or.
I believe it comes out on Thursday night at 11 p.m. Central, like our time.
Oh, yep, you're right.
So, I will not be playing it right away. I'll probably actually wait until like after, like, so my birthday is next month, like towards the end of the month. So I'll probably buy it with money that I get for my birthday. Because I usually have someone
Wait,
give me...
you said your birthday's at the end of this month?
No, next month.
Oh, next month. Sorry.
Next month, yeah.
Gotcha. Cool.
I'm not a Halloween baby, but I'm pretty close.
Ooh.
Yeah. Growing up, like, I didn't like fall very much for my birthday because there's not, like, you know, all the cool snow stuff. There's nothing to do, and then it's too cold to, like, go outside and play stuff. But the more, like, the older I get, the more I'm like, oh, we can do a bonfire or something like that, you know? Or, like, we're looking at my big family Halloween party we do every year might actually land on my birthday, and I'm like, yeah. Like, I'll just
That
pretend
sounds
it's a
really
giant
fun.
birthday party. So, your daughter is a Thanksgiving baby. Oh, something to be thankful for. That's great. But yeah, no, we were talking. So we were just talking about all the cool stuff that could happen someday, and then we came up with like
Yeah.
a million brainstormed ideas to make billions of dollars that'll never be ours. But I don't know if you get into the Raiders stadium, I think that'll help you a lot.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm just gonna start making phone calls and act like, I'm supposed to be there.
Yeah, well, I mean, hell, you got yourself on the Twitch panel board. That use that tenacity. I think you could end up in the Raiders stadium doing
Yeah,
some
I'm
doing
kind
some
of
yoga.
a crazy person that just like believes anything is possible and just goes for it. So
Those are the
hey.
people that get things done. You know, if you don't, I mean, even opening this little sandwich shop, there's a ton of doubt. But I mean, I have to be a little bit crazy to believe that it's gonna work. You know,
I mean, that's a big step. I'm so excited for you. I think that like business ownership in that way is so awesome. So happy.
yeah. Well, and it's the perfect gig. It's like 11 to 2 every day. I might stay till like 3 or 4 just to get some prep work done, but it's like very little work with a good payout. So it's, even if it's just mostly a side gig, it's a dream job for me. Like, I used to do it. I mean, I used to make sandwiches every day for a living, and that was that, as a big guy, like, that's my favorite thing in the world is making sandwiches.
I love it.
I love making sandwiches. I do. And I call them sandwiches too. My wife's always like, it's a sandwich. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but I make a sandwich.
Yeah. Well, now I want a sandwich. So
Yeah, it's gonna be the dream. So hopefully it works out. But you have to be crazy to do those things. I think those are the people that get things done. If you don't believe in yourself, if you don't have tenacity, if you don't have that fire, you're never gonna get there. The thing about Twitch is if there were, like, if I had the tenacity that I had today, if I had the knowledge and what to focus on today, when I started 5 years ago, I'd be partner easy.
oh yeah, I think about that all the time. If I had just gotten it together earlier.
Oh yeah, but I mean, there's what is and what isn't, and the truth is now everybody's got that. Everybody has those tools. It's how do you separate yourself, and you have to be a little bit crazy and to be a little bit like on it to like say, hey, who do I talk to? How do I get on this Twitch panel? I know I'm not, your number one top streamer, but hey, I'm gonna be a yoga streamer. Look at what I do. And they'd be like, holy cow, that's awesome. And then they believed in you and they went with it. And you contact the Raiders and say, hey, you know what Twitch is? And I bet you money most of those Raiders, like most of the football players, know what Twitch is.
Oh yeah, I mean, like I said, they're gonna be having the lounge there, so the higher ups know.
Yeah, it's just hey, I'm a yoga streamer. I think this would be a perfect match, and I'm right here. I'm right, And they'd be like, oh my god, that's a great idea. And then you're gonna have like hilarious clips of like different football players being like, ugh.
This makes me so like I'm seeing this in my mind, like trying to do the most like bendy, flexible things ever, just to like play with them. Oh my god.
Yeah.
It'd be so fun.
It would be so cool. And if you're combining with a multi-million-dollar network, I mean, the NFL network, they're going to be like, okay, well, you're going to be using our camera equipment and we'll have camera people. We'll just do the whole thing. We'll stream it straight to your channel. And all you have to do is run around and be like, then you get to turn your brain off from all of this and do the fun stuff. Like, that'd be a blast.
That would be amazing.
I'd have so much fun. I'm in Iowa, so my problem is like nothing interesting around. Like, there is interesting stuff in Iowa, but there's not the Raider Stadium. Like,
all I know, all I owe, I owe.
Oh yeah. It's interesting, but yeah. So I think we've actually gone. Most of my interviews only last about an hour and a half, so we've gotten pretty well over time.
Sorry.
No, I love it. That's always great. That means we had a great conversation.
Absolutely.
And I always push it a little bit further the more fun that I have. So I've had a really good time talking to you, but I do think we should probably wrap up now. But I mean, last question. Do you have anything that you just kind of want to say to everybody who's come, anybody else who might be seeing or listening to this in the future? Is there anything you want to kind of wrap up on?
I will say this. If you are a gamer, if you are a streamer, take care of yourself. Take care of number one. Love yourself, be confident in yourself, and take the time to care for your body and your mind.
That's amazing. All right. Well, thank you so much. Guys, if you're watching this, thank you so much for popping in. If you haven't gone and followed the Nerd Wife, which I'm going to put up the link right now. Here's going to be the fun part. It's the nerd_wife.
Yes.
Go and follow her right now. She does yoga streams. She has done some promotional streams. There are health talks. Are you still gaming?
Oh yeah, for sure.
You got
Definitely.
gaming streams,
Yes.
screams as well. There's some
Oh,
horror
I like
there.
that, gaming streams, because it's all horror. I like that.
Yeah, gaming screams. We got Screamtober coming up. So guys, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't gone and seen her, go check her out. If you're listening to this or you're watching this on YouTube, links are going to be in the description down below. So definitely hit that up. If you have not hit the follow button on either of us, you should do that immediately. If you have not hit the subscribe button over on YouTube or the heart button on Google Play or iTunes, you hit it up. You can. This is a great thing. You can listen to us on the road or while you're mowing the lawn or whatever else you might be doing seasonally. Say this is winter. You can listen to us while you're shoveling. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Once I find the stop streaming, there we go. Bye.